payoff. And so this week they wore t-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
Kelsey Plum decided to throw a little jab at Caitlin Clark during All-Star Weekend, clearly thinking it would fly under the radar. But just like one of Clark's logo threes, the response was fast and brutal. Her comment didn't just spark backlash. It lit up fans, former pros, and social media like wildfire. What started as a subtle shot turned into a full-on roast session. So here's the question. Was Kelsey just being playful? Or did she take things too far with her comment about Team Clark? Sound off in the comments because people definitely have thoughts.
Are really, really good. So the t-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter.
Once again, we're watching grown adults behave like they're still in a schoolyard. Plum must have thought she was making a bold move during All-Star Weekend by throwing some not-so-quiet shade. But reality had other plans. The moment backfired in the best way possible. Instant karma showed up, and it was glorious. Let's unpack the entire situation, because this saga is as messy as it is entertaining.
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the t-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very...
that really needed to be mentioned.
No, I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game. We wanted to do something that was just united and collective, and I thought that it was a very powerful moment and got the point across, and sometimes you don't have to say anything.
All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis felt more like a Caitlin Clark event than a league showcase, even with Clark sidelined. Still, players turned the weekend into a statement by rocking shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." Funny thing, though, the WNBA's been bleeding money for nearly 3 decades. That's not drama, that's basic accounting. Not a single profitable season in 27 years. So shouting about being owed money feels a bit like demanding a bonus at a job that's been in the red since day one.
Kelsey Plum was the leading all-time scorer in women's college basketball until Caitlin Clark passed her up her final season at Iowa. So there's that, right? But I think we all understand that there's plenty of jealousy for Caitlin Clark around the WNBA, her spotlight, the endorsements she gets, and her fame. But Kelsey Plum, I could imagine her feeling a type of way because she really had a very similar college career with none of that spotlight, none of that fame.
That's when Kelsey Plum dialed it up. In a post-game press conference, she brought up how none of Team Clark had shown up for the player meeting where the shirt protest was decided. It wasn't subtle. It was shade clear as glass. Everyone watching knew what was going on. The delivery wasn't slick, it was spiteful.
I think what she was trying to do there was make sure that Caitlin didn't get credit for the shirts, not realizing the backfire on the shirts, that she didn't want to be associated. It was on purpose. But at the same time, kind of showing her hand in her cattiness towards Caitlin. So it just completely backfired on Kelsey Plum and Sabrina.
And Sabrina Ionescu? Her reaction said everything. The second Plum made the comment, Sabrina's face dropped. She tried to laugh, tried to move on, but the vibe had already shifted. No one in that room missed the shot being fired. It landed, and Sabrina wasn't co-signing it.
By the way, this is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well, she's hurt, she's not there for all the games, so this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, Because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars...
Here's why Plum's move was such a misfire. Caitlin Clark is the main reason this league is trending upward. Before Clark, arenas looked half empty. Now, sold-out crowds, top-tier ratings, and national buzz. She didn't just bring eyes to the league, she brought value. So when players start throwing shade at the very person helping the league rise, it feels like biting the hand that's feeding them, then turning around and demanding a raise. Plum tried to play tough, but fans and legends weren't having it.
All right, you went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a 4 seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the t-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Like fast. Like this is the player that got you off.
The irony? Plum thought she was being clever, but she ended up getting called out by nearly everyone, including former NBA champ Stacey King. King didn't mince words. He pointed out how players demanding better pay can't also go after the one player making those pay raises even possible. He nailed it. Instead of unity, they're stirring division. And then the real twist. After all that noise, Plum, an Under Armour athlete, popped up at a Nike event. Photos hit the internet, and guess who saw them? Yup, Caitlin Clark. Clark didn't need a mic drop. One simple comment on Plum's Nike-themed Instagram post. Thanks for the Nike ad. Short, sharp, and savage. Clark basically reminded everyone, you can't throw shade and promote my brand at the same time. The internet exploded. Thousands of likes, floods of comments, and a whole lot of laughter. Plum had thrown the first stone, and Clark came back with a classy, cutting clapback that shut the whole thing down.